Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Sharon and I'm with Flamingo Bay Wellness, and this is Chef Nina of Practical Wisdom and Wellness. And we're here today to share some information with our meal prep community about how to make vegan mayo with staples that you probably already have in your pantry.
And we're gonna use this. By the way, I'm still like stuck that we have wellness and wellness here. So yeah, that's our focus. So we are making a vegan mayo today from ingredients for our pantry because we have a page called Meal Prep Community, and we do all sorts of events there, live and recorded and in person, and I'm sure we'll get back to those one day soon. Where it started because we were creating salad jar parties, and one of the components to a salad jar party, to a good salad jar party, and actually the magic to eating and loving a salad, is having a really good salad dressing. So because I need to make a vegan ranch dressing later, one of those components is vegan mayo. And so instead of my just opening up a jar, I thought I would show you and you
and
your
this
husband.
is wonderful because this is for somebody like me that's now just incorporating new vegan recipes and meals into my diet for myself and my husband. It was recommended by his cardiologist that he goes vegan, so love you, Dr. Agarwal. Maybe we'll have him as a guest one day.
That'd be great. I would love to cook for him. Oh my God.
Yes, and this is such a great recipe and I'm so excited to learn how to do this. So take it away, Nina.
Okay, so we are getting ready for our vegan mayo, and we're gonna create a recipe that has a yield of about 1 cup. So let me just rattle off the ingredients real quickly, and then at the end we will show you a screenshot so you could have it for yourself. But real quickly, we are starting with a 1/4 cup of Aquafaba. What's that? So glad you asked. Stay tuned, we'll talk about Aquafaba. So in addition to the 1/4 cup Aquafaba, we have 1 teaspoon of vinegar. It could be apple cider vinegar or white vinegar, your preference. We have 1/2 teaspoon of fine grain salt. I like to use pink, more on that later. I have 1/2 teaspoon of ground turmeric, mine is fresh. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and you know what? I normally spend so much time and energy giving you substitutes for sugar, but come on, it's 1/2 teaspoon. So just down and dirty, it's just gonna be 1/2 teaspoon, we're done. We're gonna use 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and because I'm using a fresh lemon, and I already took out all the seeds, but because I have a fresh lemon, I'm gonna also add lemon zest, because that adds a ton of flavor, and we get to build layer upon layer upon layer of flavors. So we have it, and we have 2 teaspoons of dry mustard and 3/4 cup of a neutral oil. Now, what does neutral oil mean? It means something where the flavor isn't gonna compete with everything else. Now, just so happens that I have a lovely olive oil that I just used a little bit of, which is why the color is a little green. But I wanted the opportunity to talk to you about this product instead. It's an algae oil, and since I've covered all of the ingredients, you have the recipe now, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a deeper dive and talk about this ingredient in particular, because the recipe part of it is done. But this is an algae oil. This is a great place to get your omega-3s. And in our standard American diet, we're not nearly enough of us are getting enough omega-3s. We are getting way too many omega-6s, but not enough omega-3s, which help balance it out. There's a few other omegas, so there could be a whole complex, but really the critical one to know about is getting enough 3s and decreasing our 6s, and making sure that they're in balance at all times. So
I like what you're bringing about that, and the thing that I always knew, I only thought I could get it from fish, and I don't eat a lot of fish, so this is fabulous. This is actually a plant-based oil?
Right, it's a plant-based oil, it's an algae oil, and this is the reason why you can get fish oil as a source for your omegas, is because of what they're eating. They're eating algae. That's the only reason why fish is a source. So because I like to eat vegan and plant-based, I won't touch that. But honestly, it started even before that. I never liked fish oil because, we were just talking about this earlier, what happens to you when you eat fish oil?
Oh, yeah, terrible burps. And the taste
but they're
is
they're
just
funky.
gross.
It's like fish coming back up the second time.
No bueno.
It's nasty. No bueno, thank you. It's really nasty. So I'm so not into that. So even before I went plant-based and vegan, I was always hoping that there was a way. So back then I'd learned about flax oil, but that was just, it wasn't a lot of fun to take, and it wasn't, anyway, so I never really loved it. So now I'm thrilled because with using this oil, it's a way to cut out the fish, cut out the middleman, or cut out the
middle fish.
The middle fish. I know, I love that. I'm amused. But listen, just as a quick aside, this, which is a product by Juice Plus, it's an omega supplement, and it's algae oil, and it's the same.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, so back when I was looking for a way, because honestly, how much oil are you possibly going to be eating?
This is true. I'm not going to take a tablespoon of it a day.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that makes me think of like my grandparents' childhood, where they were being forced to take a spoon of castor oil.
Yeah.
Right, so I can't do that. I can't do just a spoon of oil to eat it. But it's easy to pop a capsule, and the capsule isn't even, it's not made from gelatin. So even the capsule itself is plant-based. And the whole point being that because I live almost no oil anymore, counting on it from the oil in my salad dressing is not a good source. I just want to make sure that when you're making salad dressing that you know that you have a really clean option. And again, we're only using 3/4 of a cup to make the whole recipe. It's a significant amount because it's one of the main ingredients to any kind of mayo, but I'd rather pick a clean oil that's going to be good for us. It's heart healthy, and again, it's got the omegas cutting out the fish.
And you kind of even made your oil a little extra heart healthy because you added the olive oil to it. So does that kind of boost it a little bit?
No, it's just because I like the flavor.
Like for flavor.
That's really, it's not so much for heart healthy, because really there is no heart healthier oil than the algae oil. This brand happens to be Thrive, and I think right now, at the moment, they're the only ones on the market that make this great product. But anyway, so I'm grateful. All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna end up using an immersion blender. I'm gonna talk for a minute because once the immersion blender starts, you won't hear anything. So the first thing I'm gonna do is add all of the spices. They go in, and the reason to put those at the beginning is to make sure that they get mixed thoroughly so that you don't end up chewing on a bite of any one of these spices. Like, biting into a whole thing of lemon zest won't necessarily be fun. So I'm gonna add that. This is a combination of both lemon juice and apple cider vinegar. You could pick either or. I like both because they both lend a different flavor to it. So in we go with that. And then we have the Aquafaba, which basically is just the liquid from a can of chickpeas.
Get out of here.
Yep, that's it. This is the most revolutionary ingredient in my 30 years of cooking. That makes me officially old, so that's okay. It means that it also makes me officially very knowledgeable. So Aquafaba is the liquid that comes out of either cooking chickpeas from scratch if you're using dry chickpeas, or opening up a can. So don't pour that down the sink. Save it, put it in little freezer ice cubes, and then you can keep it in your freezer ready to go, because you can make vegan meringues even.
Ooh, stay tuned for that video.
Correct. And my friend Chef Angie showed us how to make, she taught a class at my last shop on making Aquafaba crackers. They were amazing. Seed crackers. They were incredible. So lots of great stuff to do with Aquafaba. Don't throw it out. This is a way to stretch that penny that you've got. You've already paid for the can. So use the chickpeas for something and then save the Aquafaba.
Don't pour that yumminess down the drain.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so I'm going to pour the Aquafaba in, and then I'm going to start aerating, and then I'll be slowly pouring in the oil a little bit at a time to incorporate it. The whole key, that's really the magic, even if you were making conventional mayonnaise, the magic is drizzling a little bit of oil at a time and letting it all get incorporated. So you're going to watch me do that.
So that's where a stick blender is helpful to be able to add it in, or you can use a regular blender where you can pour it into the top. Right. Or if you do have like a NutriBullet or a small blender, you can do that. You'll just have to pull it off and add it. A little tougher. It might be a little tougher, but use a regular blender.
The crap out of me doing that. So I like the stick blender
These are
for
worth
this.
their gold.
Yeah, or even then in the Vitamix, you just take the top off. There's the lid that has a little opening, and you just pour it in there. But here we go. Okay.
So quick aerate there. So you see how simple it is. Just right in there, just get the air. You're just pulling the air into it.
Right, and this way there's no lumps of any of the spices or seasonings. Okay, and here goes. The magic begins.
Okay, so this is the part where you really, it's what's called emulsifying the oil in there. So it's really getting blended. Because you know how oil and water don't really mix. So you've really got this aerating process called emulsifying, really gets that oil blended in there really well. And so that's why you add a little bit at a time.
Yeah, and the other thing that really helps make an emulsification happen is adding mustard, either dry mustard or even prepared mustard. I know the recipe calls for dry, but if you don't have that and you have prepared mustard, you can use that. That and the spices actually help emulsify things a lot, as well as the mechanical part. So here we go, back to this. Now, honestly, that's all I'm going to keep doing, so I don't think there's any point in keeping this running. Because we're just going to keep going and going and going, and that's when listen, if it were me watching, that would be when I would get up and go feed the dog. So just to say, that's how it's done. You pour it in a little bit at a time, keep emulsifying it, and when you're done, it's going to be runny, a little bit runny. You refrigerate it, it will thicken up. It will get
so
thicker.
don't panic and think I did something
Right.
wrong when it's not thicker. Give it a
Right.
few hours in the refrigerator.
Exactly.
Okay, good to know.
Right? So what we can do is, let's show them the recipe.
All
We have to turn off the
so-
lights so we don't have a glare. So you guys, so
our
first one, there you go.
Handy dandy little board
So
here.
that's the recipe. Yes, I have the handwriting of a child.
So go ahead and take a screenshot there. And if you watch this on Meal Prep Community on Facebook, we'll also include the recipe in the comments when this is posted.
And I think probably what we'll do is take a photograph of the mayo once it's thickened up, and we'll post a picture of that too.
Yeah,
'Cause-
so we'll
'cause
show you a
yeah.
picture of the final product.
Right, there you go. So, okay,
And-
so that is the end of this one. We're going to keep working behind the scenes, and then we're going to create another little video for you. But this one stands on its own, and then you can come back and watch the next video, which is
Show
all
you
about
uses
Right.
for the vegan mayo.
which for us the use is going to be to make a vegan ranch dressing and a vegan ranch dip. So already with one recipe you could choose whether you want it as a dip or whether you want it as a dressing. So yeah, so thanks for joining us, and
Please look up Nina. Chef Nina is on Facebook, Practical Wisdom and Wellness, or you can find her. Go ahead.
or you can find, I have a Chef Nina Kauder page also, but the meal prep community is the one that's probably going to be the more fun for you. And then make sure you check out Sharon with her Flamingo Bay Wellness page. She's not just the hostess with the mostest, she has an incredible amount of knowledge about essential oils and there's other parts of her wellness journey that are going to be fun to learn about.
So thank you very much. So thanks for joining us. Bye.
Yay. See you soon.